to not make my period smell. Does sex hurt the first time? Does size matter? How long does sex last? Every boy is like, hey guys, it's Sharon. As you can see, I am not in my room. I am currently in my car, and I thought, you know what? Let's get in my room for this video. Let's take it to my car. Let's get a drink. Let's have some girl talk. So this isn't my first girl talk. This is basically a series where I answer questions you might be too afraid to ask your mom, your sister, your friends, your grandma, whatever. And you ask me, a random person on the internet instead. And I'm totally okay with that. These questions are anonymous, and I try to answer them as best as I can, kind of like a big sister would. Even though you guys call me your internet mom, but I'm like 22 years old. So like being a mom kind of gives me a crisis. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, if you guys would like to see more videos like this, give us a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter so that way you guys can be in my videos just like this one. And of course, if you want to see more, definitely subscribe for more. I do have a playlist on my channel where it's just a bunch of girl talks, and I do have another playlist that's all about periods. So we're not afraid to talk about the nitty gritty and, I don't know, technically normal things about being a girl and just living life. So in this specific girl talk, I told you guys to send me your questions about love, sex, periods, all that really juicy stuff. So let's get into that right now. Go grab your snacks, go grab your tea. I got some matcha green tea from Dunkin', not sponsored. Didn't know I ordered a cup of ice, but well, it's not bad. Anyways, let's get into this. What if I like a boy, but he likes another girl? So I guess this really depends like how much you want to put up with, because my thing is, if someone that I like someone else, I would kind of want to let it like run its course, because I don't want to be a homewrecker. I don't want to be the one to get involved and ruin this relationship, because then like karma, what if that happens to me and I get home wrecked? So it really depends just how much you want to pursue this person and just how patient you are. Maybe it's just not meant to be in general, or maybe it's just not meant to be right now. What if your boyfriend is still close to his ex? So my boyfriend will never be close to his ex, because I will never have a boyfriend that will be close to his ex, because that is the biggest red flag to me. If you're still friends with your ex, it's because you never had feelings for them, like genuine I'm in love with you feelings, or because you still do. If you are in a new relationship and you're friends with your ex, that kind of automatically is just a really big turnoff for me, because it feels like you're still leaving an open door for an old relationship instead of focusing completely on this new relationship. What is the need for your ex to be in the picture? They're called an ex for a reason. They're meant to be X'd out, and you move on to the next. If you have a boyfriend but you think other people are cute, is that cheating? I don't think that's cheating. I just think that's human nature. Like, you can't tell me you don't see someone and you're like, oh, they're cute. That just happens. That's just how humans are. I think there is a difference between thinking something and acting on it. Now, if you find someone that's cute while you have a boyfriend and you ask them out, or you flirt with them, or you kiss them, whatever, then yes, that's cheating. But if you just think it, I don't think that's cheating, because you're not acting on your thoughts. What is the difference between romantic and sexual attraction? I think the difference is, so romantic, it's like, I love you, I want to do cute things with you, I want to cuddle with you, I want to kiss you, I want to go on dates with you. And sexual is, oh my god, I want to bang your brains out. But technically speaking, when you're in like a romantic relationship, you want to do both. You want to go on these cutesy dates and do all these cutesy things, but you also want to bang their brains out, you know? So that's what I think a romantic relationship and attraction is, and a sexual one is just, yeah, I'd bang your brains out, but like, I don't really care about taking you to dinner. And you know, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to take someone to dinner and just have hookups, as long as that's communicated. As long as you let them know up front, hey, this is what I want. That's all that matters. Like, don't be a Joey about it, you know? How do you know your sexuality? I never really questioned my own sexuality. I don't think I have. And I feel like it is normal to question your sexuality, especially when growing up, because it's like, you don't really know who you are, you're figuring yourself out, and I don't think you ever really know who you are, because that's just life. You're always figuring yourself out, and you're always learning something new about yourself. I don't think you know until you know. Like, it's just one of those things that just kind of grows over time, and you notice it, and you realize it, and you just learn from it. If you're questioning, I think it's totally normal. And if you're not questioning, I also think that's normal. How do you know if you are in love with someone? I would like to imagine when you're in love with someone, it's kind of like, you know, you can't picture your life without them, or if you try to picture your life without them, it would be really sad. I think you're in love with someone when you also put them before you, like when you value their happiness more than yours, which I'm not saying you should, but it's just like one of those situations where it's like, I would do anything for you, like I want you to be happy, even if letting you go is what makes you happy, for example. But I don't don't know, y'all. I haven't been in love yet, so ask me this when I am in love. I mean, I'm happy that Joe Jonas is happy, so if that's love, then I do wish it was me though. Does jerking off for guys feel like an orgasm for girls? So I am not a boy, I do not have a penis, but what I have heard, one, having an orgasm for a girl is a lot harder than jerking off for a guy. An orgasm is basically you're doing all that stuff and you finish and that's your release. So it is usually quicker and easier for a guy to do that than it is for a girl, because a vagina is a little bit more, what's the term I'm looking for? Not complicated, just it takes a little more. Whether it feels the same, I'm not sure, because I don't have a penis. Does sex hurt the first time? I'm not entirely sure if sex is really meant to hurt the first time. I think the term that people mix up and get confused with hurt is uncomfortable. There's a difference between something feeling weird and uncomfortable than something hurting. I also feel like if it really, really hurts the first time, that's something you might want to go check out. Better safe than sorry situation. You might want to find out why did that hurt so much. Like it could be things like maybe you're too dry. Friction would hurt a bit, but I don't know if it's really supposed to be that painful, and I genuinely really don't think it is. Just uncomfortable, that I can believe. Does birth control prevent pregnancy? Nothing prevents pregnancy other than not having sex. There are many different types of birth control, and it's anything from like condoms to birth control pills to a shot to an implant to a ring. So many different forms, and so many different forms of birth control work for different bodies. Like a pill might work for you, but a ring might work for your friend. The thing is, those are like 99.99% effective. There's like a chance you could still get pregnant, the tiniest chance, but that's because you're still having sex, you know, like unless you have your tubes tied or the guy has tube ties and you absolutely cannot have children. But the only way to completely wholeheartedly prevent pregnancy is not having sex. Does size matter? I want to say size matters to different people. Some people might like it long and skinny, some might like it short and wide. Like I said, every body is different and every body has different tastes. A really big one could hurt some people, but some people could really love a really big one. It's all based on experience and based on different taste. How do I know if my hymen is broken? There was another question that was like, what is a hymen? Your hymen is basically just this thin, fleshy tissue that's located at the opening of your vagina. About your hymen breaking, so this goes back to something that I like to call virginity is a social construct. And the reason I say that is because you can break your hymen while walking, by doing a split, while riding a horse. Like so many different things could break your hymen, and it is not a big deal. You're not going to bleed to death. You're not going to hell if your hymen breaks. Like that just happens, and it doesn't happen only during sex. So the reason I say virginity is a social construct, I strongly believe virginity was created as a way to shame women. Because have you ever noticed that men can openly talk about their sex life and have as much sex as they want, and they're cool, they're a top dog for that. But the second a woman talks about her sex life and has as much sex as she wants, she's shamed and she's shunned and she's slut shamed. Why? That's very misogynistic, it's very hypocritical, and it's very sexist. Society puts the guy up here and the girl down here about the same thing. Maybe that's just my tea. Can you lose your virginity to masturbation? If we're gonna give attention to the idea of virginity, virginity is technically when you have sex for the first time. That is when you are penetrated by a penis. A penis goes into the vagina. That is what the sex is. I feel like a sex ed teacher now. Masturbation is when you're touching yourself. You're not losing your virginity if you're touching yourself. So technically speaking, no. Is it weird if I want to touch myself? I don't think that's weird. I think that's human. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, yeah, go do that, or no, don't go do that, because who am I to tell you what to do with your own body? It is your body, it is your choice, it is your decisions. If you want to, go to town. If you don't want to, don't go to town. That's like the beauty of it being your own body. Also, I don't think it's weird, especially when you're going through puberty, or you're like a teenager, or you're like a young adult. Like, your hormones are all over the place, sis. If anything, it's normal, not even weird. Do you have any tips for masturbation? Again, this is just, everybody is different. Some things might work for you, some things might work for someone else. When it comes to masturbation, when it comes to sex, when it comes to even stuff like relationships and even friendships, that is stuff that you learn over time. With experience, you see and you learn, hey, I like this. Actually, I don't like this. This does it for me. This does nothing for me, you know? So it's really just kind of a learn as you go. How long does sex last? Every boy is like, So here's the thing. When a man finishes, like comes, a man has to rest. He can't just be up and ready to go for round 2. So sex really depends on how long a guy can go on without finishing. That could be 30 minutes. That could be 3 minutes. There is no specific amount for how long sex can last. And also there's stuff like foreplay, whether you're making out with them or you're doing like, you know, like other things. It's all really situational. What direction should you shave down there, and should you shave the hair by your butthole? I have a girl talk video where I talked about shaving and I like went into detail about how to shave down there. Just go on my channel or type in Just Sharon girl talk shaving. What I remember off the top of my head is when you're shaving, you should shave in the direction of your hair. Also, if you could find some type of like barrier between your skin and your razor, especially on your vagina and your bikini zone, because like sometimes you can get razor bumps. I do use one. I bought it at Walmart. It was actually like not that bad. I'll stick it up in here somewhere because I don't remember the name off the top of my head. It helps to avoid or kind of prevent as little as razor bumps as possible, because those are a pain, those are annoying, and those can get very itchy. But I do go more in depth in that in another video, so definitely check that out. As for shaving the hair near your butthole, on your butt, whatever, girl, that's up to you. Whether you want to or not, again, your body, your choices. It really just depends what you're into or if you want to, you know? I mean, like, I don't see no guy shaving their booty hole or shaving their butt, so I am not happy with these differences, you can tell. When should I go to the gyno for the first time? I think you should go to the gyno whenever you have become sexually active. At that point, that's when like STDs can happen, infections can happen. I mean, granted, you can get infections from just like using a tampon for too long or wearing a pad for too long. Technically speaking, even when you start your period, you might want to start going to the gyno, but more importantly, when you first start having sex. I think sexual health is something that is very important. Also, I want to point this out right now. If you're gonna have sex with someone, do not be afraid to go tell them to go get tested, okay? Because if they want to stick it in you, that thing that they're sticking better be clean. Now I am a mom. What happens if you have sex on your period? So nothing really happens when you have sex on your period. Yes, you can still have sex on your period. Supposedly, when you're on your period, sex feels more intense. Like some women prefer having sex on their period because like the orgasms are more intense. But also understand that even if you're on your period and you're having sex, you can still get pregnant. There is still a risk of getting pregnant while on your period and having sex. So still use protection. Is it normal to have discharge all the time? I have wondered this so many times because like same sis, at this point, I really think it is normal to have discharge all the time. And I feel like half the time I'm in panty liners. It is what it is. Like discharge is very, very normal. And if you don't know what discharge is, it's that little liquid that shows up in your panties. It could be like white or clear, kind of ooey and gooey. That's just kind of your vagina cleaning itself out, really. Why are there blood clots in my period blood? I will never forget the first time I saw a blood clot in my period blood and I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. It is actually so normal. Blood clots happen when your uterus is shedding too much blood that your body can't keep up with it. These are very, very common in heavy flows, and a heavy flow is obviously like when you bleed a lot on your period. It is normal, and also I feel like it is so hard for me to use the word normal when talking about periods because I don't think anything about a period is normal because periods are just all over the freaking place, but it's normal for them to be all over the freaking place. What's freaking new? Is it okay that I've had my period for 4 years and it's still not regular? What did I tell you? Yes, it's okay. I've had my period since I was 11 years old. I am 22 years old, and that thing is still not normal, and I don't think she ever will be normal. Also, when you start taking like birth control, for example, that can like mess up your period a little bit too. You might get your period for a month. You might not see your period for 2 or 3 months. Everybody is different. And so many other things can affect your period cycle too. Things like stress, things like what you're eating, things like exercising, like playing sports, all that stuff can affect your period. And it's ridiculous. Like I said, I think it is normal for a period not to be normal. How do you pee with the tampon in? It's actually really easy to pee with the tampon in because your tampon goes in a different hole. You have 3 holes in total, 2 in around your vagina and 1 is your butt. Your pee hole is a different hole than the blood hole. When you use and stick in a tampon in your little blood hole, the pee doesn't come out of there, so it's not pushing the tampon out, so you're fine, sis. Although I would be a little bit more considerate when it comes to peeing with the tampon in. Like, I wouldn't do it all the time or that often. What I mean by that is like, yeah, you can pee while having a tampon, but maybe not pee like 3 times with that same tampon, because just in case that urine gets on the tampon string and then you're keeping your urine down there and it might, you know, cause some bacteria downstairs. Like my first UTI, my first urinary tract infection, which is like totally normal, those happen all the freaking time, they're super easy to cure, was because of a tampon, so How to not make my period smell. I did talk about this in another video, and I don't remember exactly what video. I don't know if it was a girl talk or a period video in general, but like, trust me, lots of bingeable stuff right there. Very informative too, not to toot my own horn. But when it comes to your period smelling, your blood itself doesn't really cause the smell. I mean, like, sometimes blood smells like metal. Like, that's something I think we've all experienced. As for that, like, fishy smell, if you're smelling very fishy, like rotten fish, you might want to go check that out. Might want to go to the gyno just in case something could be wrong down there. But also understand that the smell is probably coming from all that bacteria just being locked in your downstairs area, especially if you're wearing like tight clothing, for example. Like if you're wearing jeans, really tight jeans, and you got a pad and you're bleeding, that's kind of just trapping all that sweat and bacteria down there, which then mix together to create the smell. To avoid that smell, honestly, I'd say try and freshen up as much as you can and try to avoid tight clothing too. How do you ask your parents to go on birth control even if you're not sexually active? My favorite question. Okay, if you're gonna take any lesson from this video, it is that birth control is not only for having sex. Just to give you an idea, one of my best friends is a freaking lesbian. She's not having sex with a man, she's not having babies, no penis involved, and she is on birth control because her flows were so heavy and she had some blood problem in general. So she got on birth control to help make her flow lighter. Birth control can be used to help with acne. It can be used for girls that just have painful periods too. You know, there's so many things and uses for birth control other than just to not have babies. So I think if you want to convince your guardian, your parent, whoever, to let you get birth control, be like, well, look at all these other things birth control is used for. It's not just a gateway for me to having sex. It has a lot of other benefits. But also, like I said, every birth control is different. You know, one might work best for you, another might work not so good for you. It's one of those things where you really have to research it and find out more about it and learn more about your options. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, if you have any tips you want to give us, definitely make sure to comment that as well. I will try my best to help you out, sis. Also, let me know what other girl talk topics you want to see. Like, what do you want to see for next time, you know? Like I mentioned, I do have a lot of girl talks already on my channel. This is a series I have done before where I just answer all these questions you might be too afraid to ask anyone else, so you ask a stranger on the internet. That's totally fine. Hey, my name is Sharon. Now we're not strangers, so it's all better. But you can definitely go binge those. And of course, shout out of the day goes to Sydney on Instagram. Thank you so much. If you would like to be shout out of the day, just follow me on my Instagram and stay active. Aside from my girl talk videos that you can binge, you can also binge my all about periods videos too. And I also just love to really reveal and expose your secrets and just your tea. So I got a playlist for that too. Lots of juicy content on this channel. But anyways, if you'd like to see more, definitely subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.